I'm Jesper Lovren. I prepare technology and business leaders for a world where AI has agency by teaching how to design, govern, and architect agentic systems that scale with trust. Most AI systems today look impressive. The demos are fluent. The outputs look intelligent. But then you deploy and things start to fray. Drift creeps in. Hallucinations appear. Small mistakes turn into real operational and compliance risks. The MIT 2025 report into the state of AI in business found that 95% of all AI proof of concepts fail. That's not a model problem. It is a system design problem. Proof of concepts run in controlled conditions. They have curated data, stable inputs, clean edge cases, and artificial guardrails. Production is different and introduces new challenges. Uncurated data enters, conflicting records, missing fields, ambiguous events, and a long tail of exceptions. But the deeper failure mode is context. Most teams blur context and cognition, then blame the model when things go wrong. Cognition is a modeled reasoning over what it is given. Context is what the system assembles, scopes, validates, and proves before reasoning begins. In a proof of concept, context is accidentally complete. In production, context is fragmented, stale, contradictory, or even missing. Here's a very important point. When context collapses, cognition fills gaps. That is why hallucination rises. It's not because the model became reckless, it's because the system stopped supplying truth. So the fix isn't just better prompts. It is not just a stronger model. It is building a governable system where context is engineered and controlled and cognition is kept inside those bounds. Components do not decide. Systems do. Once AI can decide, your system is no longer executing your logic. It is exercising delegated authority. That is why architecture has to change. Here is a line that matters. An agent is not defined by what it can do. It is defined by what it is allowed to decide. In classical software, we tell the system what to do. If this, then that. Deterministic flow. In the agentic system, you are delegating decision-making under uncertainty, so your job changes. You move from writing instructions to defining boundaries. The boundary defines decision rights. It says what the agent is allowed to decide. It says what it must ask a human. It says what it must verify. It says what it must refuse. And it says what conditions revoke its authority. This is the difference between an assistant and an operational actor. So how do we build systems where autonomy does not become chaos? We build on 3 pillars that work together. The first one is agentic design. And design is where authority is granted or denied. Who is allowed to decide? What they are allowed to decide? When they must stop and escalate? How authority is verified, limited, and withdrawn? If you get this wrong, you are not deploying AI. You are deploying unmanaged delegation. The second is agentic governance. Governance is not a committee. Governance is controlled, exercised at runtime. Every time an agent tries to decide, it must prove it is allowed to. When confidence drops, authority withdraws. When input quality degrades, the system tightens. When risk rises, decisions escalate. That is what makes autonomy governable. And pillar number 3, agentic architecture. Architecture is how autonomy becomes safe at scale. It turns decisions into governed transactions. Identity, provenance, policy checks, coordination protocols, validation gates. Without this structure, you scale actions you cannot explain, contain, or trust. If your AI plan is to pick a strong model and write good prompts, you are leaving control to luck. That might demo well, but it won't survive production. Because intelligence does not scale on its own, but structure does. This is why architecture has to change. Because when AI starts deciding, the core unit of design becomes authority, not automation. In the next video, we will unpack the first pillar in this series, agentic design. We will define decision boundaries, evidence rules, and withdrawal and escalation, so autonomy stays governable before anything goes live. So if you want to move beyond impressive demos and build agentic systems that hold up in production, subscribe and follow the series. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video.